Hello there. We have more parables today. These are more or less part 2 of the parable of the sower. They are about the subject of farming. However, as you may remember, parables are metaphors for concepts. So technically, none of these are about farming. I've heard these titled as the kingdom parables. We're starting in Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field, but while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed seeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, "Sir, don't you sow good seeds in your field? Where did the weeds come from?" "An enemy did this," he replied. The servants asked him, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling the weeds you may root up the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, 'First collect the weeds and tie them in bushels to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn.'" So, funny enough, the explanation for this parable came after another parable. I was debating on whether to skip that or not, and I figured, why not? So we'll come back to verse 31, but let's skip to verse 36 now. Then he left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He answered, "The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out his kingdom, everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear." So that's quite chilling. First, let's understand that Jesus is the one who gives goodness. Goodness only comes from him. So our goodness as Christians can only come from what Jesus has told us. But those who don't believe in the way, the truth, and the life do not belong to Jesus. And we will all live together until Judgment Day. What is Judgment Day? I looked it up. I did have a lot of questions about the waiting place. See, the new earth, which comes after Judgment Day, is written about fairly well. Like, not all is revealed, but I feel like personally I can grasp it fairly well. Maybe we'll cover that some other time, I don't know. But what isn't documented well is the waiting place. We mostly just know that it exists. I believe that Revelation 6:10 is really the only place that mentions it, from what I can tell. So unfortunately, I'll have to leave that inconclusive. Even though there are theories, I don't know if I can believe them because it's just not really written about that much. But eventually, Judgment Day will come, and Jesus himself will sort us out in the divine throne room. And the people who didn't believe in the way, the truth, and the life will go into the fire. Maybe literally, maybe not. We don't know. Who knows? Maybe doom is very accurate. Either way, it's not going to be good for them. However, the followers of Jesus will get to go to a new earth. Things will be great. So let's move on to the next parables. We're reading Matthew 13, verse 31. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all your seeds, yet when it grows it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and perch in its branches. There has been a lot of debate on what this parable is about. Mostly only two theories, and to be fair, they're the same theory, just different perspectives. It definitely seems to be about the abnormal growth of Christianity, which hasn't even happened yet at the time that he is saying this, but it's strange because mustard seeds grow into bushes, not trees. So most say that it's a beautiful thing, which is plausible, but others see the growing of this mustard tree as a monstrous growth. So it would represent like colonization and stuff like that. As Jesus is going to say in a few verses, he does not give the answer to most parables. So hopefully it will keep you thinking. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into a large amount of flour until it worked all through the dough. This one has a couple interpretations as well. It could be that it's portraying the same thing that the mustard seed one was portraying, the growth of Christianity in a good or bad way. It's also theorized that the yeast symbolizes corruption being mixed into Christianity. Could be any of those. Let's just read the closing statement. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowds in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. The prophecy Matthew is referring to is in Psalm 78:2, and it's not really what we would want to hear. We would rather just have answers. But Jesus leaving us pondering is actually a huge part of his ministry. It keeps us engaged. And I think that's really cool. Even if it is frustrating, it's nice to be able to discuss it. Thanks for listening, guys.